All right, welcome back everyone. This is the final step for our beautiful fall sunsets. All right, all we need today is the same artwork that we've been working on and a black pastel. All right, black pastel. If you don't have black pastel, use a black marker. You can use a black crayon. You can use black chalk. Anything that you have, but today's the big day. This is the day where we take this to the next level. All right. First thing we're going to do is now we are going to clean up our horizon line with black. Now this will probably be the line or the moment that we really want to take our time and go slowly, because black, what I always say, is a pretty unforgiving color. So if we stick it right up in the sunset, we're going to have to make it work with some sort of silhouette there because we're not erasing it. It is a very bold and very strong color. All right, so we're going to take it very carefully, in kind of like short artisty lines, we're going to go all the way across. And when you need to take a break, take a deep breath. All right, now I think I can make that even look nicer, so I'm going to go over it again. Editing is the best part. Alright, that's beautiful and that's crisp. Now, before I add anything onto it, any silhouettes, I'm going to create a little shadow coming down onto the earth, because right now it just looks like it's blue with a black line, a little yellow down there, and then this gorgeous sky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade. It's going to be a little bit of a value scale. Value scales are so important. We're going to start dark, and then we're going to fade light, and we're going to keep going all the way across. If you did this on black paper, you can still do it, or you can skip that step. But you know, you're the artist too, and you're doing your own thing. If you love the way it looks, and when you see me do it, you're like, no way, not doing that. You're the artist. Do what you want. Okay? But in case you want to do it with me, this is how we do it. I'm starting up here on the horizon line. I'm putting a little pressure in, and then I'm going to fade it out. Creating some pressure. And then start to fade it out. So down here you can actually see my lines. You can see where it's overlapping a little bit. I like that. If you don't like that, you're going to want to go lighter and build it up much more gradually. Editing and refining. Make it a little darker down here. Add in a little cross hatching. Cross hatching is also one of my favorite things. If you're a student that's worked with me, you know I'm obsessed with it. Go up here, start dark, and you fade lighter. It's not really getting much lighter down there. Normally it gets much lighter. But I think I like the way this looks. It's a little unintentional. Maybe I'll fade lighter on this hill. Alright, so I told you I was going to do something and then I didn't do it. I said we were going to get lighter. It's really not. It's just dark. I just love the way that looks today, so I went with it. And sometimes, you know, when you're trying to pull back on pressure, lots of times it doesn't pull back as fast as you wanted it to, and then your artwork changes, and then you just have to roll with it. But I like it. I don't know. I'm happy about it. We gotta make that work, and now I'm really into what this looks like, so I'm just gonna keep refining it and editing. All right, now for our horizon, we can literally put in anything. I'm gonna show you some of my other examples again. You can put in elephants, which are my favorite, fields, trees, birds. I've had students in the past do lighthouses, oceans, whales jumping, a little forest. You could do a house that has windows in the front that perfectly line up with windows in the back, and then suddenly you can see that sunset go through it. Trees, animals, fences. Right here we have a train rolling on through, and so on and so forth. So for me, I'm going to show you how to do a tree. Now, silhouettes are these beautiful things. You cannot see any detail. All of the light is behind it, which means that none of the detail that we know is there can be seen. So if you do a person, their face has to be totally colored in like a shadow. We cannot see the detail. Also, no floating silhouettes. Make sure everything is connected to the horizon line unless it's one of those things that can naturally fly, like a bird, or something man-made that can fly, like a plane. All right? I mean, you could go all fantasy and do crazy, wild, adventurous things. I'm going to go with reality a little bit on this one. Okay. So I'm going to start with a tree trunk. It's kind of like a pointed triangle, a little bit like a teepee. And I'm going to come up and I'm going to make it look like a Y. Just a Y, nothing more. Once I do my Y, I'm going to start adding on broken lines. More branches. Broken lines everywhere. And then we have a tree. It simply starts like a Y. And if you want to, you can put leaves on it. You can have leaves floating in the wind, falling right off your tree. Now, if that was a little too small, I can make it again. Let's do another tree over here. All right, so I'm going to start with a pointed teepee, a pointed triangle. And then I'm going to turn it into a Y. That's simple. That line's a little straighter than I wanted it to be. I'm not going to erase it. I'm going to make it work. It's almost like drawing with Sharpie. Just add all the broken lines. You keep adding branches. And because this tree is in the same season as this tree, I'm going to add some leaves. And I guess it's a windy night, because they're going to start floating away. Now, if you do birds, lots of people love doing birds, and birds are beautiful things to see in sunsets. Make sure that they're low to the horizon. I guess they could be a little high if they're close, but you don't want them to be too big. So I would say you start with a dotted line. And you add in broken lines. I don't know where they're going, but they're going somewhere. Wouldn't it be fun if you just filled the whole sky coming in with birds? Oh, that would be beautiful. I've never done that. All right, other things that people love to do are these houses. So I can show you how to do a house. I can show you how to do a fence. All right, so if you want to do one of these houses where the window lines up the front window lines up perfectly with the window behind it, and then you get to see the sunset, great. You can make it a spooky house, you can make it a fun house, whatever you want. I'm just going to make like a regular cabin. So first, I'm going to put in the walls of the house. I'm going to close it all with these lines and give it a roof. Well, that's not a pretty perfect house, but it doesn't matter. It's all going to get colored in. And I'm going to put in their windows. And I'm going to color it in. Everything but the windows. The roof is a little weird right there. When your pastel loses its point, it's very hard to get it to behave sometimes. But now I'm going to put in a chimney. And I'm going to add in some smoke. Now smoke, when it comes out, can be dark. I might add some white in there, but then it dissipates as it gets into the sky. Maybe I'll add a little white in there too. And this is so fun to add in the things on the horizon line. You could just go all day. If you want to, you can add in a little bit of a field. Just make sure that the grass is really low to the ground, because if you make it really high, I mean, you could do that, but suddenly you're in a jungle. It's like a beautiful prairie. And so on and so forth. When you want to add a person, or if you want to add a person, I never like adding people to mine. I like it to look like people are there, but they're all inside, enjoying the fire. You remember, you have to keep it in proportion. If that's my tree and that's my house, my person should only be about there down, and then you don't see any of the detail. You could do a fence, you could do anything, but that is our sunset. And remember, whenever you finish a piece of art, you need to sign it. So I'm going to sign it down the corner. Now, I like making sure that my signature can't be seen right away. Lots of artists do it lots of different ways. I've seen artists that really put their name out there. I've been to some shows where their signature is more important than the subject. That happens. I like making people work for it, so I've got mine off on the side, and if I wanted it to be a little more well seen, maybe I would put a little blue around it. And then I always say you put the year, because you always want to look back and know when you did this art project. All right, so that's it. I can't wait to see you next time for our next art lesson, and I hope you had fun. I'm so happy that you came. I'll see you next time.